You probably realized in my last video, and this is the third part of lesson 3, that I was off the page. So I'm revealing this to you again, so I hope you didn't panic. But here are the numbers on the right-hand side of question C. Let me just finish this up then for you. I was so close. X minus 5 is on the bottom. X plus 1 is on the bottom. And after we collect some like terms, we're going to end up with an x squared plus 12x minus 19. I am just putting everything together that I have. Keep the bottom as an x minus 5, x plus 1. And that looks like we are good to go. And finally, what we have is x not able to equal a 5 and a negative 1. So that's the end of that question, and this was the actual answer right here. That's as far as we go. All right, next little bit here, we are going to do one more question of this sort. Just getting a little bit more complex. We have an x plus 2 on the bottom, an x plus 1 on the bottom, and x. So what we need to do is find a common denominator. Well, there's nothing common there, so we're just going to put them all together. And this just becomes a really long question, not difficult, just a long question. So on the bottom, I'm going to have x plus 2. I hope you recognize by now what we're doing. We're just combining all the bases, and then I take the bases that are not included in the fraction and I will multiply them with the numerator on top. So in the first case, I have x plus 1 and I have an x that are unaccounted for in that first fraction, and I'm going to multiply that by the 3 that's on the top. The second one, same idea. Now I'm going to actually start switching this up, and I want you to see that. I'm going to actually put the numerator first, and then I'm going to put the denominator that is missing with this particular fraction. So if I'm on this fraction and it's x plus 1, I'm missing the x plus 2 and the x. So I'm going to put the x plus 2 here and the x. Now it's the same as what I've done in the first part. However, I'm just putting the numerator out front so that it makes it a little easier to FOIL. And then this last one, so at this point I'm switching all of this up and I'm putting a 1 out front. What am I missing? I'm missing the x plus 2 and the x plus 1. All right, just a little mechanics here. I'm going to put the 3x together, have my x plus 1 still in brackets. I'm going to put my 2x together, and let's leave the x plus 2 in brackets. I will take care of that in a moment. I just thought it would make one extra step will make it a little clearer for you. And I'm going to leave these guys in brackets. Now on the bottom, that doesn't change. I still put my denominator. And then I am going to multiply through the brackets. So I'm taking my 3x and multiplying it by the x, and I'm taking my 3x and multiply it by the 1. The next one will be the same, 2x squared minus 4x. Be careful of that negative sign. I tend to say that a lot. And then this next section where I am right now at this point, remember I'm going to need to use FOIL. So I'm going to do it all in one step though. X squared, I end up with an x squared and a 2x squared. That gives me a 3x, sorry, not a squared, just a 3x. And I have a plus 2. Putting my denominator in again. Next step will be to collect all of my like terms. So here's what I've got. I have a 3x squared, and I have an x squared, and I have a negative 2x squared. So I have 3 of those. That will give me a 2x squared. The next bit would be, I'm going to use a different color, a yellow. I'm going to grab my x's. I have a 3x minus a 4x plus a 3x, and that gives me a plus 2x. And the last one will be just the 2 all by itself. all over the x plus 2, x plus 1, and the x. Now, that works. The only thing I probably would go, and I think I would like you to do this, is if we can simplify the top just a little bit more, we will. And if you notice, there is a 2 that we can pull out. It just makes it a little cleaner. And so I've just pulled the 2 out of the top. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put my x. Whenever you have a monomial all by itself, I think you should put it out front. The x plus 2, x plus 1, and I've just taken, let me just remind or show you what I'm doing. I'm taking that x and I'm just putting it out front. And that would be the answer. Of course, I need to tell you what the non-permissibles are. I'm going to go and look through it, end up with x not equaling 0, cannot equal 0, cannot equal negative 2, and cannot equal negative 1. And there is the question. We are done. Lots of questions to be done. You have done up to 6 at this point, so go ahead and finish up number 7 to 12. You should be able to manage all of those questions. There is an awful lot of questions, and I recognize that, but the more practice you have, the better you will get.